I am so happy to uh, start off this new episode of She Site. And this specific episode is about She Scientist. As you all know, She Scientist is a column that we have started in She Site magazine to feature and honor and recognize and to give visibility to amazing women scientists across the globe. And as part of that, today we have yet another glorious scientist who has won a lot of awards already, and I'm going to ask her to explain all those awards and the work she is going to do. But before that, I have to tell that I am personally super proud of her because she was my schoolmate. So as a schoolmate, looking at her trajectory, looking at her career growth, looking at the way she is impacting the humanity with her contributions in the field of science and technology, I'm really proud of you. Now, without much ado, let me introduce the scientist of the day, Dr. Karthika Rajeeve. Dr. Karthika has been a biotechnologist, now currently specifically focusing on human infectious diseases studies. She's currently working as a scientist at Rajiv Gandhi Institute for Biotechnology in Trivandrum, Kerala, India. But she has a wide range of experience. She has done her PhD from Würzburg University in Germany. And before that, she has also done a basic education or a basic graduation from agricultural universities. So let me put my hands together and welcome my dear friend, Dr. Karthika, into this show. Welcome, Karthika.
Thank you, Chandra. Thanks a lot.
So I know I didn't do justice by introducing all your career achievements so far. So I would want you to take us through a journey of where you started it all. I mean, how did you make it happen? Share us your journey.
Yeah. This is basically, the journey when I started from schooling till I would say degree, it did not differ in any way, to be honest. Actually, when I was doing my degree, agriculture did not excite me so much. So it was just studying a lot about crops, how to fertilize them, what time to harvest, and all this. So it was just like any other person. I was going through till my bachelor degree, I would say. So it did not excite me so much. It did not give me this fire, I should say. So where I would say in the third year or fourth year of my degree, there was a subject called agricultural biotechnology. And there somehow I felt that that subject was pretty easy for me. I didn't have to study that. I knew it. And somehow I had a feeling it was very easy for me. I can catch up things, whatever my teacher tells me. It was somehow getting grasped very fast. Okay. Yeah, I could learn and assimilate things very fast. So this was the first notion. What is the best thing that you are made for? It's because every individual is different as well. So probably that will tell you your path of career. So this is the same thing that happened with me too. So after which I actually chose for my MSc, I chose MSc Agriculture because that was the only choice I had that time, but agriculture biotechnology. So then again, I learned a lot about very many things, basics of biotechnology. And from there, I went into a PhD.
It's about your PhD. What was your research about in Germany? You did it in Germany. So some of our viewers or audience would also like to know about how to get these kinds of PhD programs, admissions. So you have any tip towards that as well?
Yeah, this is basically there. Most often they often have these fellowships open in every year twice actually. So these are like graduate school fellowships which will be open. So you can really apply, and you have to definitely have good grades for when you are, of course you have to, they will have thousands of applications, so you have to, yes, they will screen you out. So before they talk to you and know you are fire, they will of course short you with the grades.
Your essay,
so, yeah, absolutely. And of course your statement of purpose or SOP is also important, why you would want to do this. So in European countries, as far as I know, that is very important. So they really want to know if you want to do this at all. So why you want to do this? So you have to have a very solid reason why you want to do it. Right. So there, the PhD is normally 4 years with full funding. So they'll fund you for the 4 years, and then you have to see how it goes with you. So this is how I started my PhD. Yeah, and you have to choose laboratories. There will be something called a lab rotation. So you can go to different labs for a few weeks and see which lab really fits well for you. It's not the mentor, it's not the science that matters, but actually how well you dissolve yourself with the team is very, very important. Yeah, so your attitude really matters there.
The beginning of an academic career or a research career. So tell us, after that you came into, you joined the same university for a while as a postdoctoral scientist, and then you became a tenure track professor in Denmark, and then finally you are right now in Trivandrum, in your hometown, and serving India. So how is this transition from being a PhD student to actually becoming a scientist and running individual programs? What are the qualities that you think are needed for a person to get into a career?
Yeah, actually, a PhD, after your PhD in science, basically you can do two things or many things. So one of this main thing is, okay, of course, remain in the academics doing science. And the second thing is to go into industry. So this hit me also. So I also wanted to think I want to go to industry or to remain in science. So this was there. So soon after my PhD, actually, my mentor, he already gave me a postdoc position, to be honest. So the 2 years, I was due to family reasons also, I did not want to move away from Würzburg because my husband was still doing his PhD. At the same time, I had a baby. So this had to, everything should fit together. And Thomas is a very gentle person. He allowed you to grow. He allowed you to, prosper with many publications coming back to back. And I was doing almost 5 projects parallelly, having students, and I was already establishing on my own way. So this is basically the freedom that your mentor gives, honestly. So that I had. Yeah, I had that. This is true. And then at the same time, when after my 2 years, I also cracked some grants. So thanks to also the Frauen Bureau from the University of Würzburg. So this is again a grant that was given particularly for women. Yeah, so to support people with people with children and women with children. So thanks for that. So they actually gave me. So to be honest, I had been really pampered a lot with such kind of grants and such kind of supports all over my career. I have to, otherwise I probably would not be here so fast. I have to tell you that. Even my PhD was, I did not halt my PhD. So soon after the birth of the baby, well, I definitely had support from my parents to take care of the baby. But still, I went back to the career within 2 months of the birth of the baby. So this was very, very difficult for me emotionally. I had to go through that. But the university actually had a, keen eye on this situation. And they actually, I mean, there is a rule, I think, from the DFG that they actually increased my tenure or not tenure, but my PhD time for 1 more year. And that too with a postdoc salary. Okay. So that was a higher salary, and they increased my time from normally for 3.5 years is this funding. So they gave me 4.5 years complete funding. So this is the most I can give you. And there was a great child support also from the University of Würzburg. This, I cannot forget that. So they gave me all support. We have the baby sitting or baby to be taken care actually in the Mensa itself. So we had people to help our help that we can leave the baby with them and we can work. So this support was always there. So there is a kind of a crush inside the university. Yeah, this helped a lot.
I think what you just shared now is a, I would say it's a great thing. Not every country or not every organization can boast of. I mean, to support women, especially women who wants to pursue their career after maternity, and to support them, that is a massive support system that will make a whole lot of change in a lot of women's life.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, I agree with that. So this was one thing. And then, after my PhD, like 2 years of my postdoctoral period, I had my own group leadership actually for 6 more years with Thomas. After this, I felt it is important to move out and have my own independent laboratory. A completely independent laboratory. Well, I was independently researching before too, but this was more important to have my own funding, my own position, and so on. So I started applying to several places. So and then I just moved, and I moved to Denmark in Aarhus University with a tenure track assistant professor. Actually, then it was a bit tedious again with the family. traveling between Heidelberg, Germany, and Denmark, and what you call the work-life balance. This had to be maintained. So there's no peace when your family is not safe and we are not together with the kids. They also need you equally. So the science at the science family. So this both needs to be balanced. So once I started applying also to India, and I was very lucky, and I'm very proud that I got into this institute, Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology, which is actually in my hometown. So it's what more should I wish for? So yeah. I mean, in one way, that was the best option that we both could have, and then we both moved back actually to India. So this is my career path so far.
Excellent. I love that journey, the transition and everything, and for the decisions that you have taken on the way. Now, I would want you to also, in this journey, you have got a lot of awards. I, in fact, was fascinated looking at all your grants and awards. You have probably raised more than, millions of dollars in terms of research grants so far, especially in your lab. So next, let's get into what exactly do you research on? What are the different projects that, you are working on? What is that you are, passionate about? And all the different kinds of grants or support systems that you were able to raise so far.
Yeah. So since my PhD, I would say I have been working with bugs, with pathogens, actually human pathogens. So I've been always fascinated how they are really kind of, hijacking you, and, how they are really evading your immune system and growing inside you without you even knowing it. So where I could find like the bacteria can release certain proteins or proteases to cleave away some proteins on the surface of the immune cells to make them paralyze. So, they see my pathogen, the immune cells come to the place, they see my pathogen, or they see chlamydia, and they get paralyzed completely. They do not react anymore. So that is wonderful, isn't it? So this is what I was really researching on. And and also I looked into how these metabolites are taken by the bacteria, how selectively are they taking these metabolites, how they are used up inside the system. So this is the metabolomic part that I research into. And much more fascinating part is that many pathogens have been associated with cancer, but bacteria, it's only Helicobacter, isn't it? So there is the oncogenic factor from Helicobacter cacao has been discovered, but still people do not know only 2% of the infected female or the humans gets stomach cancer. Nobody knows why so. So isn't that an important question to answer? And there are many viruses have been really associated with cancer. People know that virus are HPV, very many actually have been associated with cancer. But bacteria as such, people really do not know why and how and where, and there are so many questions associated. So chlamydia is also one such pathogen, and we have series of papers published in this direction that they can really transform tissue, or they can really block cell death. They can already drive the cells towards this, but people have never been detected with a cancer directly. So if you have an infection, so HPV, if you have HPV, you have a good chance of developing, you have at least a high chance of developing cervical cancer, right? So you always even have vaccines now recently developed against HPV, but we don't have any such evidence about bacteria associated with cancer. So this bacteria cancer interface is also a very fascinating part. So after coming to India, I also realized that in India, the most important pathogen of the, which affects millions of people here is basically Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And people do not know how they get reactivated. So many people who have bacteria in their body, they actually can stay in their body in a latent phase. So how are they getting reactivated? It's the mechanism is not exactly. So this is what one of my other project interest is on. So it's basically chlamydia and mostly on the mycobacterium. So I'm just starting with the mycobacterium area, but soon to discover good findings, I believe. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm not a science person, but thanks for explaining to me in a very layman's language what exactly you are trying to do. One quick question: you were talking about HPV. Can you give a full form of that for our audience?
That's human papilloma virus.
Okay. So tell me about this kind of a research ideas and the topics that you are working. what actually influenced you to get into this kind of a study? I mean, was it the experience or the training that you got during your PhD, or after your PhD, how did you conceptualize on these kinds of newer research areas?
Yeah, it's basically your PhD. Your PhD will give you so much of information when you look into things without like a future, or you are not looking into it with a conceptualization inside your head that I have to do this. So that's what the freedom that you get is very important to do research. So you are not told that you have to go through this hypothesis and prove that. That's not how research is. You are really keenly looking into everything,
Yeah.
looking into everything. Yeah. So this is how it is. So you are just wondering how things develop, and looking into some curious development inside the
Curiosity.
microscope. So this curiosity is basically what gives you questions over questions over questions. And when you see other publications in the field, you really know if your question is really relevant or not. If your
Yeah.
question is relevant, if it affects the human or the human population or the nature itself, then that's the right thing to do. That's the right thing to attract grants, and the right thing to do and produce results on, which can maybe change, the misery of the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. I 100% agree the curiosity part of it. I just wanted to know, were you like this during your childhood? I mean, as a kid
Yes.
itself, you were so interested in science and asking, are you like, what kind of a personality are you? Were
No,
you?
I realize it now. I realize it now, because now I really look behind. I think how I was as a kid. Actually, I was pretty curious. I had done many experiments when I was a kid, and I had injected. I later, you remember. This is really curious. I have to tell you this. When I was a kid, I was actually using ink. So my
Okay.
mother had a syringe at home. So I
Okay.
used the syringe to take the ink. Yeah,
Mm.
and then injected in the anthurium,
Oh,
the flower, to
plants.
make blue flowers.
Oh
I
my
wanted
God.
to make blue flowers when I was a baby. Well, not baby. I was a kid. I was like when I was like around 6, 7 years old.
And what
When I
happened
was
to the plant? Did it die
yeah,
or
I don't
did it actually
remember
give
much.
blue?
I don't remember, but maybe it just perished. I don't remember, but
Of
I was
course.
doing that. I wanted to see if the flower will turn blue. But later, when I saw that when I was doing my MSc Masters in agriculture biotechnology, we were keen in making blue orchids.
Mm.
Yeah, blue flowers, black flowers. That was, and then I understood, oh, really? This I was thinking long time back.
That actually brings me to the question of, comes to girl students, these kinds of curiosities are rather snubbed in many ways, and probably they are also conditioned to choose more less of a science career. So one of the key areas of work that even most of the countries are now looking into is women in STEM. So what is that one aspect do you think that countries as well as educational institutions can actually do to promote the curiosity in girls?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a major concern. Our age, I would say we were pretty lucky that we were never, stopped from dreaming. But I do see that in certain part of the country or in different parts of the world, that's happening, that women are still not allowed to dream, not allowed to achieve. This need to be changed. Educational institutions, I think they have to make certain changes in the system so that they can basically attract more female to
Mm.
the to positions, actually. And not only that, most of the time what I have seen throughout my career, let it be European, let it be Indian, let it be African or Iraqi, or I don't know, I had
Mm.
many friends from different parts of the world. All of them or many of them had the same issue, that when they had babies, they had to take a break. They need to be supported that time, and the male partner at the same time should take the responsibility to support the female at the same time, because it's their baby, it's together they build a family. So it's equally important, I believe. So I
Yeah.
think this kind of support, the universities and the educational should support them, and I think it's developing, and we are in a very much good situation now, and it should still be better later.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
For example, what you told, Chandra, building up a crush, basically. I mean, where should we leave the kids when they are small? Can you imagine? They have a good reason.
Do you think that the science career, or especially lab works and research and everything, is very demanding? Is that the reason why many women are still afraid? I'm not talking about the European context. How do we work around this? And do you think that science is actually that difficult, or is it? What is the perception? What do you? How
Well,
do you?
well, well, science is not difficult for a person who really has that fire in them. That's what I believe. If you science is easy for people, or science is actually a part of your life. I eat, drink, and sleep science, so it's fine for me. I love it.
It is a long career journey, and I think that is something probably, especially for early career researchers or early research career people, women especially, they sometimes, as you rightly said, they quit because of the challenging, or rather, I would say, the commitment and the long works sometimes you might need.
That's true.
But that's where I think the point we discussed already, which is about having the familial support, the spouse support, as well
Absolutely.
as having an organizational support comes into place, right?
Exactly.
And
All
I would say
all this must fit. All this must fit.
women are being supported in this manner, the kind of output that they produce is massive. For example, look at you. You have
Actually,
recently
yeah.
won When Whereas Spotlight Awards. Tell us about that. I mean, that's the reason why I thought we should interview you. Tell us, I know that it is a very prestigious award, especially given to young scientists. And tell us more about that. How does that feel?
Yeah, actually, I'm so happy and excited about this award, first of all. So, but it's an international award, and for a young scientist like me, this is for a startup. I'm starting in India now right away, and this will be a great support and great to visibility for a scientist. This is very important for us, right? We have to be visible in that field so that people know you and people feel you and people know what good science you are doing. So that is really, I really thank the organizers, and I also thank our support system here in RGCP for this, actually. And the thing is, like, I was publishing in eLife, and that's a journal that is actually giving this grant. So they actually select people from from countries which are developing, which do not have so much support for science. How they explain it. Yeah, exactly. And then there had been like 134 people who were selected and who were asked to give the. So we were actually contacted when we had to, we have to apply for it. You are eligible to apply. This is important. And I mostly asked for a very much needed equipment for my laboratory, and also to travel to US next year for the CBRS meeting. So this was really important for me, for the growth, for the visibility, for publishing, for networking as a scientist, and all this. So this would definitely help me through, to be honest.
I mean, congratulations on that. Now,
Thank you.
not many women scientists actually get recognized in this world. Let's accept it. We just have 2 or 3 Nobel Prize. This year, for the first time, we have a chemistry Nobel Prize. She's from Stanford. And we were like, oh my God, it's massive. So
Yeah.
why is it that women scientists are going unrecognized, or what is it that, is there any barrier that women scientists face in the professional careers?
Yeah, I honestly think that it's not one or two people who got Nobel Prize. Actually, many had got Nobel Prize in 2018. Also, I think it's true. I don't know. I remember exactly the year, but it's true that very very many women don't reach to that heights. That's very true. This is mostly because of this familial support system that is missing. And this long time that you need to, pursue your dream is not small. It's really a long journey that you have to take till you reach
decades of long work.
Absolutely. There's no shortcut to science. And I took care of the baby, at the same time parallelly worked in the laboratory. So actually what we did was, me and my husband had a really good rapport there. So I worked from morning 4 o'clock till 12 o'clock in the noon, and my husband worked from 12 o'clock till late night in the. So this is how, we did not give the baby away. We took care of the baby. So what I want to tell to all the women out there is that everything is possible. You just have to do it.
Let's again get back into the work mode itself. That vision that you have for the future, what would be the ideal scenario of your research work? How does your research, or how is your research going to translate into the outcomes that you see in the world?
Yeah. So, my dreams are quite big. to be honest. And,
That's good.
so many people think it is unrealistic. So this is something which I want to crack, and I have a strong feeling. Or this is first thing, okay, a scientist will have normally when they observe and they're curious, when they know it, they really know inside their heart that this is happening. I have to now prove that that is happening. So this definitely is there. That basically the most important thing is to really prove that the infections or what should I say, chronic infections with bacteria, particularly the ones I'm working, has the ability to transform cells. So this is something which I want to look forward for. And most interestingly, the scenario has changed. So if you ask me what's the worst thing, what is happening in science is basically animal research, right? So everybody is against that. I know that the whole society or the whole world looks at it like you work on primates, you work on mouse, you are sacrificing it. It's not good. So there is definitely there is definitely a solution for that we use actually a bit more physiological relevant condition of developing organoids or organs. And this have already revolutionized, but we have not started yet in our laboratory. So this is what I want to really go for. Actually, this will also actually develop. So
that means you produce, or rather using tissue culture.
Yes, yes, we can actually
organs.
Yeah.
And then you work on it instead of a live animal.
Exactly. This is the point. So this is why I got the last award, this Dagne award from Denmark only for this. Bringing in organoids as a way or a tool. So this is something which I want to really popularize, that people use that way, and which is much more. That is actually a human system. Why do you have to you go for a primate system or even a mouse system when you can already
work? You can actually do work on a human system. Exactly.
That's yes, and we are not hurting anybody. And associated with this, this kind of development, people had been developing this now. Recently, people have developed like a lung organoid, brain organoids, and there is revolutionary things happening around the world. So this is what I also want. Well, I have already established a uterine organoids in my last publications, of course, but this is not enough, I would say. So we need to
do you have the facilities and technology needed for
Absolutely. We are really full-fledged with everything, I would say. The support system is so good that I don't see any failure, or I don't see anything wrong why we cannot achieve that. We should be able to do this. Absolutely. Well, we can actually go for the big dream will be to introduce what you call personalized medicine in our country. Where every human being at the end of the day knows what or where she is and what treatment does she need, or what consideration should she have in her lifestyle that he or she should take care to prevent this kind of a cancer, or should be aware of to, if they are BRCA positive, that she knows that she might get a breast cancer, she should be aware of that. Such kind of personalized system should come. This is what my dream.
I think a couple of startups in Silicon Valley are already on that path. There are, I'm aware of 23andMe, which actually does a genetic analysis of your saliva and comes out with your gene code, and then they give suggestions on supplements and your lifestyle and other things.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly.
It's a $1 billion startup idea which is happening over here. I hope.
In India also we do have such, but it's not so big at the moment. But this is not as in a business mode, but I would say if we can establish an easy platform for hospitals, that would be great for our patients. This is what I always dream of, where, we can go to, for example, I'm here in Trivandrum, we can go to regional cancer center and help the patients, because there is also something called tumor heterogeneity. So not that every tumor is made of the same kind of cells. So there is a lot of different kinds of cells which basically, integrate, and then this chemotherapy basically fails due to one of this reason is this. The tumor
depends on the person, individual.
Absolutely.
For some people, it is different for some people.
Yeah, absolutely. So not every medicine will fit for everybody. So if you have this personalized medicine in a very practically, in an economical way, if you can establish here, that would be a great advantage for the people. Brilliant. Or for the future to come. Yeah, I hope that day comes. One or the other team can do this, Yeah. That would be a
how long do you predict will that take? How long? How much is the time period you predict?
Well, today came, right? So I would say that day will also come. It's not so far. What I have learned till my journey is you have to take small steps forward.
Right.
Yeah, small steps, one step after the other, and you will definitely. And if you have to have that dream, solid dream burning in your head anyway, and make small steps forward, and you will reach there. Nothing can prevent you. Your curiosity and what you are, nobody can stop you from working. It will come. That time will come when things will be in place, and you have to still be hardworking and try to achieve that. Yeah.
I think that is the crux of the message of today's conversation, because it's all about hard work and also looking at the long-term vision and working on a long, you should have that perseverance and grit to work on a long range. But that's where most of the people quit. They come up with excuses and then, quit. I say the same with entrepreneurship. So being a scientist is also an entrepreneurial venture, to trying to find a solution and trying to make it happen for the next generation. How do you, once an idea hits in, you make a research plan, right? And these many kinds of iterations and experiments has to be done in order to arrive at a final thing.
Yes.
So all that is actually done by the principal investigator. Am I right? Or
not really. So normally the principal investigator will be the person who is really getting more time, I would say, to go into this literature. So they will be having more networks. They will be having more time and more investing more into the ideas actually. And these ideas, since they have a lot of exposure in the field, they will exactly know how and what will fit in faster. And then what we do is we make some quick and fast experiment to see if this concept is correct or not. And if once we have this right trend, then we start with the figures. When we start with real research, and we found, and during this research, for example, I have to tell you this. In the last paper in 2020, we published one in Nature Microbiology, where we found that this metabolite called glutamine is absolutely important for the bacteria to replicate. Okay, this was a very key and interesting part that we published. And guess what? During this finding, we had another finding which we did not publish then. And that is actually the base for the Ben Barons Award. That's what was pursued again by the student Nadine Polmuth. I should thank her here. So she was actually continuing with that part again, and then published the next paper the next year. So, or 1.5 years later, she published. So this kind of, team and this kind of observations and discussions all matters. So this is actually a lot of time-consuming and tedious work.
It's a long project. Like normally, if you look at a life of a project, a research project, is it like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? It varies, right? Depends on.
Yeah, normally it depends mostly on the grant. The grants are normally for 2 to 3 years. So we try to finish within that time, and we try to also publish. But it's up to the PI or the principal investigator. So they always have an idea how big it should go, how big it should hit. And if I see a project should or has the capability to go high, I will put all my effort, my whole team into that. That's how it will go good. And it will benefit all of us. Yeah, as an authorship or whatsoever. So that's how it goes. But sometimes you see that's a dead end. Okay, that's what. Well, it's a good finding, but it might not change the way world thinks. It could also go in a medium journal. So what? It's again a finding.
Yeah, exactly. Any finding is finding. No.
Yes,
so in research we say that if a hypothesis is null or not working, that itself is a finding.
I mean, I have to be honest here to say that the mostly like 80% of the work might be ending up as a negative finding. That's quite normal. And you should not get disappointed upon that. That's quite normal in science. And that's okay.
Right. And one point here is, what is the current funding support, or rather, do you think research and development as well as science research is getting adequate funding from agencies or from government? Is our countries giving even enough support or enough funding? Do you think that is enough?
Yeah. At the moment, we have recognized that there needs to be more funding, and they are changing the scenario. And I think it's really good, because I just came in 2021 and I cracked 2 beautiful grants within this 1.5 year. So that shows that the system is is getting better and better each day. And I think they are doing a tremendous effort to get it better. I'm really surprised the how the government is putting things together. This is amazing. I don't want to reveal too much about it, but I would say I really appreciate. I did not see this in anywhere else, to be honest. We are really putting a lot of effort, and the institute is really pushing things forward very nicely, I would say. I'm very, very happy, and I'm very hopeful with that. Yeah, I have to be. This is true.
Yes. Okay, that's it. I mean, now let's this is the closing question. We both have studied together in a same school, the Holy Angels Convent in Trivandrum. So I'm sure this episode will be very highlighting for the girls of that school at this point, because to see two of the alumni in different positions this is definitely going to inspire the girl students. So is there any message you want to give to the girls of our school?
Seeing the future generations here, and I'm really kind of worried with the attitude. And I mean, this is something which we have to really work. And exactly the term that you use, the perseverance, the hard work, the understanding, the most important, the teamwork that you have to do to achieve a big goal. You have to understand that, actually, and you have to learn to dream, and you have to work in a team to be successful. And this is what I want to tell the future generation. And and I'm sure all of you will do great, actually, because we all did good. So our future will also do great. The thing is, again, the same: learn to dream big and catch your dream. Yeah,
right. I mean, that's where I think you brought out a very important point about the future generation. I would say, compared to our generation when we were in school, today school children have a lot of distractions. They have a lot of, I would say, false belief about the future is going to be, or rather the life is going to be very colorful, because they're getting carried away with what they see on social media. And it's like people are looking for shortcuts. Most of the younger generation tend to get carried away with the glamour and the glitz of that world, and that is actually losing their essence of the life, where probably there could be more and more scientists coming out. Instead of that, we see more of TikTok stars coming out. So that is one pain point, I think. I also feel
this is absolutely important, Chandra. I completely agree with you. Well, I don't see so many in my day-to-day life, because I have two little ones, so I don't see them so much often doing TikToking and all this. But that's true. That's a very dangerous situation, that you turn to make finance out of this YouTube and all this TikTok and all this, so that they are really titrated away from hard work. They are titrated away from real big goals that we have to achieve. That we are titrated away from designing rockets and or developing organs and saving our environment or nature. I think that needs more attention than TikToking. I agree with that.
Exactly. And that's where I think governments and society in general has to talk about these bigger things, and that needs problems to be solved. I mean, all these bigger problems, instead of the short-lived or short-term attractions or these kinds of things.
That's true. That's one thing more, Chandra. The thing is that whatever you have achieved as a scientist, I would say, it is never, even this award what I have won, whatever papers I have published, is not a one-man show. It's a team, actually. It's a great team that you build. It's a great team that you hold hands with, and this is very important. That collaboration, that trust, that team spirit. It's like I don't know. It's a replica of a family. What you will have, where you trust each other, where you build each other, where we put one finding with the other finding and make it a complete, picture out of that. So that is really important. So I really thank my team for that. I had a really great team, and I do. So this is the pillar of every scientist, to be frank. This is the pillar, and I thank you all for that.
Yeah, that's a brilliant closing note.
Yes,
if you look at any successful person, I would say they have been a great team manager as well as a team leader, or rather, I would say they have been able to lead a set of people towards the goal. That is how we define successful leaders. So I think you have been a great leader, a great scientist, and I am sure that you are going to get more and more awards, more and more recognitions, and more beyond recognitions. I would say more and more impact to the humanity. As you rightly said, your vision of making the planet customized medicine or making disease free or preventive medicine and other things, it's going to materialize in the few years, and your
Yeah.
contribution will be recognized, or rather will be acknowledged in the books of in
Yeah,
for the next generation.
this will be true. This will happen only, and I have to be also thankful to all the mentors that I had, and the existing director of the institute too, and my fellow scientists too. So all of them, I had never faced a day when anybody said no to me. So everybody had been always helping and supporting, I should say, particularly the scientist group, and particularly the all the people who are working in the team, all of them actually, even the director, all of us, I would say. So we had been supported very nicely and very for the future. I mean, this is the Ben Parents Award was actually, well, I'm definitely in India, and this could be the main reason why I could achieve or I could grab this award. But at the same time, the future will definitely depend upon the Indian scenario, what we are living. And here also I'm very happy to say I have a great support system here, and I could start the day I came pipetting. That's almost impossible. I did not even do this in Denmark. So thanks to all the fellow scientists who helped me to do this, to achieve.
With that positive note, we hope and believe that this talk or this conversation inspires a lot more girls as well as women to enter into STEM careers, specifically into science research, hardcore science research. It's that's what the world needs more, and we need to inspire more people into that. And I really thank you for your time. I know it's like a very busy schedule, and having two small kids, you spent a lot of time to share all your perspectives and insights. I wish you a great career ahead. May all your big dreams come true. And I'm sure probably a few decades later, I can also interview a Nobel Prize winner.
I don't know. I really wish so. And it's not about Nobel Prize, I don't know if I'm so so passionate about winning a prize. It's more about I believe it's more about.
I mean, it's about
it's basically, I don't know, the satisfaction that you get when you find something and then the world accepts it. That's what matters.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what matters. These awards, let it be Nobel Prize, let it be anything. It's only for a few days. That glory stays in you only for a few days and then it's over. But this continuous, effort that you do with science and finding every day a new finding, and then when my students comes with me a new blog which works, then that happiness I get. That happiness I get with my team discovering things. I just don't want that to fade. That should be there. Yeah. I just wish for that. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Sir. Thank you so much for joining.
I really thank you for this and taking this effort, basically, particularly from a female scientist, to really show the world how we can achieve and what we can achieve. Thanks a lot for that, actually. I hope this video or this podcast will help the young generation to also dream more and, to be curious in life, to dream more, to achieve, to run, then take the effort and, do it with pride. So I wish everybody all the best.
Thank you once again, Karthika. Thank you so much. Most of the YouTube podcasts are about film stars and heroines, and
absolutely.
So we need to bring a change. That's why I thought of interviewing scientists. So thank you for your time once again, and I wish you all the very best. Bye.